G'day. It's almost 7 a.m. in the morning. I'm on my indoor bicycle, getting ready for another day. What I'd like to talk to you about today is my 5 tips in 6 minutes for staying motivated towards a sporting goal. So the first thing here, and I talk about it often on This Cycling Life, is to think about your why. Now, what does that mean? For me personally, my why is I do love riding my bike. That's a great motivator for me. But also there's a much bigger reason I ride my bike, because I really do feel a mission. I feel inspired to encourage people into this beautiful sport. So it's not just about me when I ride my bike. I'm thinking, how can I inspire others? The other thing is that I'm a dad. I have 3 children, and I do think it's really important for me to be a role model to them. My kids see how hard I work. They see how I wake up in the morning, I do my training, how I'm able to actually fit this in with my career and my commitments to them as a family. And I see that also already with my kids, that work ethic that's being instilled in them as well. So that's my bigger why. That helps and motivates me an awful lot. The second thing here is that you do need a goal, okay? When you have a goal, it's not just having a goal in the calendar, it affects your body. So the neuroscience research shows that when you set a goal for yourself, when your body knows that something big is coming, it releases a chemical called dopamine. And dopamine is associated with motivation and drive. Now, the thing there is you also then need to break your goal down into smaller goals. So to keep that dopamine flowing, you need each month or every couple of weeks to set yourself a mini goal, hitting a certain number in your power, or going on a certain long training ride, and that will trigger that dopamine release. Very important. This also relates to the nature of the goal. So when you set yourself a stretching goal, then that dopamine is kicked in even more. So last year, for the first time in 20 years, I went and I raced the World Masters Championships on the track in Manchester. I felt so motivated in those months before, because actually I was also a little bit afraid. And what happens there is interesting. It's not just dopamine that gets released. When you feel this mix of inspiration and fear, your body releases a chemical called noradrenaline. And noradrenaline is also associated with motivation, but also with, how do we put it, like helping you to work hard. It helps you to physically work harder. So dopamine, noradrenaline, very important for you. Now there's a third factor here, which is fun. If you don't enjoy training, don't enjoy the sport, it's hard to be motivated. So, how do you do that? How do you have fun? Train with somebody else. Okay, find a training partner. Now, I do that sometimes, but sometimes also gets a bit boring riding with the same people day in, day out. So I use the opportunity for longer rides to learn. So I listen to podcasts, TED Talks. I have one earbud in my ear, typically riding along a bike path where it's safe to do so. I find that really motivating. It helps the time to go by. If you're on an indoor trainer, then of course, you can watch Netflix. I do that, when I'm just having that downtime, doing easy riding. A lot of people like Zwift. Just be careful with Zwift, because one of the issues there is sometimes you push it too hard because you get caught up in the competition when you should be doing, for example, an easy ride. So just be aware of that one. The other real easy thing to do is to break your training down. So if you've got a big long day of training, 3 or 4 hours, oh boy, it can be hard to get out of bed and get motivated. The research shows actually that you can break the training down, and I do this. So on those big days of 3 or 4 hours, I cut it down to maybe 3 rides of 1 hour, 1 hour 15 minutes with a break in between. Now the science shows that actually from a molecular level, your mitochondria, there's very little difference between doing a 3-hour continuous ride, particularly when you're in that sort of zone 1 and 2 phase, to actually doing 3 1-hour rides. Mick Rogers, former world champion, he used to do that when he was training for the World Championship on the TT. And also what Mick has explained to me is there are fat burning benefits. Because actually those 3 1-hour rides, your metabolic response for each one kicks in, and you tend to burn more fat over those 3 separate 1-hour rides. The last piece of advice I have for you is get a great coach. So I have a terrific coach called Alan Davis. He really inspires me. So when I'm feeling down, feeling a bit unmotivated, he peps me up, reminds me of those goals we're shooting for. But more importantly also, the research shows that when you have a coach, it does motivate you because you want to please them. You want to, when I hit good numbers, when I get the hours done, I feel a bit proud, and it's nice to have someone else to validate that and to encourage you and to congratulate you for doing the work. Okay, so when I go to Training Peaks, I like to see all of my sessions in green, which means they've been done, because I know then Alan, as my coach, is seeing green. Now that's also important because the research shows that if you have a coach, for example, who's been a real achiever themselves, and going back to your training buddies, if you train with people who are really motivated, who are achievers, who have got things done, then there is a peer effect, okay? So if you train with really good people, really motivated people, you tend to become really good and motivated yourself. So I try actually to, when I can, I try to train with people who are better than me, younger guys, more powerful guys, because that really does motivate me. And I've got a terrific group of friends here where I live in Belgium who fit the bill perfectly, really inspiring guys. So that's my 5 tips in 6 minutes. I hope they're useful for you. If you do like the video, please give us the thumbs up. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I look forward to seeing you on another episode of This Cycling Life.